Morning. That's how we wake up every morning. Let's see what we can get into today.
Almost died. That's a real bunny. What are we doing today? We are answering a question I got from a friend of mine named Miasha. She asked me, what on the road could I not live without? And that's what we're doing today on Chasing the Sun. Right, Wolfer? Right? Hey guys, in reference to Miasha's question about what are some of the things that I absolutely cannot live without, must-haves. I'm not being paid for this, although if Flex Tape wants to send me $1 million, I will cash that check. But this Flex Tape, I'm going to show you in a minute how it's patched the holes in my roof. Several places I've used it to patch stuff in the RV, not just for water damage. One time I was camping in boondocking. There's a frog over there. I was camping in Missouri once, boondocking. I always carry 3 buckets with me, which is on the list as well, Miasha. And 2 of them got holes in them. And I use it to carry water, to do laundry, it's very important to me. And at the time I was broke down, so I needed water. I have a filtration system, so that I'm going to be saying it saved my life, but it kept me comfortable. This is an absolute must-have for anybody in van life and RV life. So my vent cover blew off as I was coming back from Florida, and I'm going to use that that flex tape to cover it up. I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. There you go. This is by no means a, forever fix, but it's 5 minutes, it's waterproof, and it'll last me for a few months until I can get my cover back that I need to get back on there. Cannot recommend this stuff highly enough. Flex Seal Tape. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Chasing the Sun, where we do everything RV and van life. And today, my friend Miasha sent me a question, and I mentioned it in the last video, where I answered a whole bunch of questions, but I thought I would take this episode and just do what are my must-haves. And I'm going to do this a little bit differently than most of the videos I've seen. I'm assuming that you have a vehicle, that you have a place to go to the bathroom, that you have AC, you have a stove, you have a place to clean up. So beyond that, there's just the extra stuff that I just refuse to leave and get on the road with. So the first thing is a bucket of change. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's full of quarters. So whether it's for tolls, whether it's for laundry, whether it's for food, whether it's for gas. I lost my billfold on the last, I found my billfold. I was in Hampstead, North Carolina. I went to the park and I was running and I left my billfold on the ground. Not left, it fell out of my running jogging shorts. And so I was able to gas up and do a lot of other things. Now a lady did find me on Facebook, God love her, and she really, really helps me. So anyway, yeah, I gotta have this. Next, I would say I need an emergency fund. I mentioned that in the last video. I would need, whatever you're comfortable with. My tires are going to cost me $600 or $700 if I go out on the road. So you need to figure out what's comfortable for you and figure out what your emergency fund needs to be. But that's just me. I got to have an emergency fund if I get towed, if I break down. And then, of course, I also mentioned in the last video, I have 6 months of living expenses already in the bank, and if I get below that, I stop wherever I'm going to somewhere to find a job to where I can get 6 months ahead of my bills. Okay. Buckets, 3 buckets. So I always have 3 buckets. And sounds crazy, but these are 3 of the most helpful things that I could have. And I will tell you why. The first thing that I do with my bucket daily is it's set up, and it's always under here. It's a garbage can. It's a beautiful thing. I put a bag in there, and I have one for my recycles, and I have one for my regular garbage, and that's where those 2 normally will sit, recycles and garbage. And the third one I use for, and I only use the bucket for, is to go to the bathroom. And I'm going to shoot a video on that. I tease about it all the time. What you do is you got to separate your solid from your water or your liquid, and you keep those separate, and then you just deal with those differently, and I'll explain that in another video. Also, I haul water. I do laundry, which I'm going to do an entire episode on laundry. You have 1 5-gallon bucket. You fill it 3/4 of the way. You add a little soap. You do your you take your dirty laundry and you make it like an agitator, and you wash it there, and you have another bucket. Of course, obviously you've taken the recycles out of it and the garbage out of it, and now you're using those 2 buckets for your washing and your rinsing. And they're just for fishing, hauling. One time I got stuck in the snow and I was able to go get I took the bucket and ran and got some rocks and threw it down and was able to get out of that. There's just so many different things that you can use buckets for, but I have 3. And remember, I only use the pooping one for poop, and that's it. So, water filter. I never leave home without this water filter, and it is a Life Straw, and it's just, for me, if I'm on the road and I know that I can basically go to almost any water source, clean or dirty, as long as it's not like super poison, I can use this, and it's good for like 1,000 gallons of water, fresh clean water. And so, especially when I'm camping remotely, if I ever run out of water, which has only happened to me one time, I can always get water filtered through this for me and Wolfie. One of the other things I like to have is about 30 days worth of dry foods and at least 30 days worth of food for Wolfie. Just because you never know if I'm going to go out west and I'm going to go boondocking If I have 30 days worth of food for me and Wolfie, and I've got this life straw, then we're good to go. And I'm always ready for an emergency, because if you're not ready for that, man, oh man, oh, I have friends that have been stranded and they didn't plan like that, and they just really got into some trouble. I've never lost a friend, but I've had some friends get into some real tight spots. So I plan for that stuff. My fishing tackle, fishing pole and fishing tackle box go with me wherever I go. First of all, it's just fun, and I like to fish. Just put a video up the other day of me fishing, catching. I got another one coming to catch and cook. I love to fish. It's a passion of mine, especially when I'm around the ocean. But also, it's not just fun. I mean, I like to eat fish, and I like to catch, cook, and clean fish. So I'm never without that. It's not really a survival thing. It could be a survival thing. I mean, if I'm boondocking out in the West and I don't really have, if I run out of fresh, protein or whatever, I can always do that. So yeah, fishing tackle and fishing poles, never leave without. I have a medical, obviously a pretty substantial, and it's packed with all my burley wood stuff in the back. It's a very commercial medical medicine bag. It's got, of course, your regular stuff, alcohol and burnin, Neosporin, a bunch of tape. I've got actually a suture needle in there, which I've never had to use, but I have a blood pressure cup, portable blood pressure cup, and that's a pretty big deal to me. If you're alone and you get hurt and you cannot fix yourself or help yourself, then you are, in big trouble. So I've been adding to it over the years. I probably have $100 into it. I know that's crazy, but the last thing that I want to do is be unprepared for an emergency. And it's got like a sling, and it's pretty substantial. I'll break it out one day when I get all my burley stuff out of there, and I'll actually go through it and kind of show you guys what I got. The other thing that I never leave home without, and I just refuse to, and I've always been this way, is hand sanitizer. Man, oh. If you are in the woods, or even if you're boondocking at the truck stop and you don't want to use a lot of water, hand sanitizer is a big deal. Especially now, we're still dealing with the coronavirus. It is July 8th, 2020, so we're just still in the middle of the coronavirus. And when I was in the southeast recently, I mean, you just couldn't get it anywhere. So now that I'm sort of back in the Midwest, I actually got 2 big old bottles of it. And whether or not you have the coronavirus going around, or whether you just want to keep yourself clean without using a bunch of water, that's good stuff to have. And finally, the thing that I won't leave home without, and it has nothing to do with the coronavirus, although my number has increased, I always have 40 rolls of toilet paper. I know, 40, it's crazy. And I'll tell you why. Again, if I'm boondocking for a couple of months and I'm out, in a sort of a survival mode, and I'm catching my food and I'm hunting for my food, which I've done, which I love to do, which I've showed you a video of me catching and cooking fish. I love to do that, which I just said. And I want to stay out for a long period of time, I can do that if I have those extra rolls of toilet paper. And of course, now with the coronavirus and with the shortages, I just don't understand why people hoard the toilet paper, but for whatever reason, it's back in stock. And normally I roll with about 30 rolls. I know, that's crazy for one dude. Now I have 60. I really do. And I'm not embarrassed by that. You would not believe how many times, especially during the last couple of months when I was in Wilmington, it was in such short supply, and I would go around and pick a couple of rolls up here, a couple of rolls up there. I helped old people, or somebody, that didn't have it. I would hear on Facebook somebody would need some, but eventually I'll stop talking about the coronavirus. Eventually this will all be past us. But in the meantime, I'm going to have 60 rolls of toilet paper. The other thing that's kind of cool is that I've been to gatherings. I've been to boondocking on BLM land, Bureau of Land Management. People run out, and I always like, hey man, here's a couple of rolls, and I hope that if I ever run out, that somebody will do that for me. So anyway, that's kind of an unconventional list of things that I cannot do without, and that's it. So, Miasha, thank you so much for the question. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for buying that rack. I would love to have a picture of that so I can show it to everybody. Proud of that one. Put a lot of work and effort into that, and I appreciate you so much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, Miasha. Thanks for buying that thing. It means everything. I've known Miasha probably for 35 years. She's one of the greatest people in the entire world, so there's that. Okay, so if I have not covered something that you would like for me to, please hit me with an email below. My email is always below. You can find me on Instagram, Chasing the Sun, Eric Hobaugh, Hobaugh. Same with Facebook. We have a Facebook page that's going pretty good. Getting ready to get a Patreon account going. Getting some T-shirts going. A lot of exciting stuff coming up, and I really don't have a good excuse now. I've kind of been sitting in one space, doing a little bit of work. I've had a few days to kind of clear my head, and going to be starting working on that stuff, as well as posting a whole lot more videos. The next video I do is going to be cooking, I promise. And there you go. And remember, guys, you have to get up every single day for the rest of your life and do one thing that gets you closer to your dreams. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe. See you on the next one.